What's going on, guys? It's your boy Dave here from No Coast Fantasy Sports. Today, we will be reviewing the first game of the NFL season. It's finally upon us. So it's Thursday Night Football. Showdown. Showdown slates are a niche. We had a really good success rate last season. So this year I wanted to make some videos. Just kind of breaking down real quick some players in my pool, why I'm making these choices, etc. Just kind of help you guys give a little assistance and some choices you're making, just some decisions you may be kind of on the fence on. So we're going to get it going. I'm not going to show any specific behind paywall stuff for sites that I subscribe to, such as Awesemo or anything like that, strictly because one, I don't want to give out free pay product for another site, and two, that's not why I'm here. If you do want to use any pay tools like that, I do recommend Awesemo. I do recommend also Run the Sims if you want to make your own projections that you can make percentages of target shares, adjust them, etc. You could do the same thing with the Awesemo tools and use the Awesemo projections as a base as well, which is mainly what I do. But for season long, I did use Run the Sims. I like that tool a lot, and I'm going to dabble in it a bit this season, just here and there. So that's just kind of what I recommend if you want to use any tools. I know a lot of people use Roto Grinders, Run Pure Sports, all that stuff. All those are pretty necessary at this phase in the game now, with everyone having as much access to, I guess, knowledge and tools that you can in time. So we're going to go in. At the captain slot, I'm going to start off the top end. I like Tom Brady, Dak Prescott. I think they're both pretty good. Obviously, I want to go Brady here. There's an injury with one of the offensive linemen for the Cowboys, but Dak will end up having to throw a lot from playing from behind. Whereas Brady, I think he's probably going to get from around 2 to 3 touchdowns. I think that's a pretty safe estimate. So I like going there. Ezekiel Elliott and Mike Evans are next up. Elliott probably rush for a touchdown, probably get around 3-4 passes, somewhere around 30-40 yards. So that's viable. Mike Evans could obviously be very live for a bomb play. Same thing getting in the mid-range here with the captain plays, whereas Chris Godwin, Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and Fournette. I can see Fournette getting some good touchdown rate probability, much like he did in the Super Bowl. CeeDee Lamb should get a good amount of target shares from the slot, so that's always good for our 1.5 points per reception at the captain slot. Amari Cooper for some good live play, but he's probably going to see a bit of shadow coverage, but he can obviously go off. Same goes for CeeDee Lamb. And Chris Godwin for a similar rate as Mike Evans, although Chris Godwin will probably get a bit more slot routes. But what I really like is this lower range at captain, and namely Antonio Brown Thursday night. So Antonio Brown at 8,400 at the captain slot is really, really nice. Literally half the amount of Brady at captain, but I think it fits in really well. It makes you fit Dak and Brady in the same lineup, which is very important with the Cowboys and Dak having to play from behind and pass. Zeke might get phased out of the game, so he's kind of a liability at that point. So I do like Antonio Brown a lot. I think he's a very good play at the captain slot. Ideally, a lot of my lineups for the captain slot are pretty much Tom Brady, Dak, and Antonio Brown, and then a bit sprinkled in with Gronk, CeeDee Lamb, Cooper, here and there. I think I have one with the Bucks in my top 150 even. So that's what I like at the captain slot. I think the Bucks are also very sneaky at captain, but obviously with Showdown, you're going to get those people that have like Bucks and Cowboys like captain lineups and vice versa, playing like both defenses, both kickers, etc. And those lineups, like 99.9% of the time, they don't do well. So don't bother playing this. Next, we're going to go on a flex real quick. So I have 22 players in my flex player pool. I had 13 players in my captain slot player pool. So for flex, obviously in the high end, as I said before, similar to captain, Brady and Dak. Then Zeke, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, all for similar reasons that I had at the captain slot. Obviously, there's a bit of a wider range here, and here namely. The next tier of prices, Fournette, Gallup, Antonio Brown, which is, I'm going to have like 100% ownership of Antonio Brown pretty much in all my lineups. He's such a good play tomorrow. Rob Gronkowski, also an amazing play. Blake Jarwin and Ronald Jones. So if you guys are wondering like why I think Antonio Brown and Gronkowski are such good plays tomorrow, it's really because Showdown is all based on touchdown equity. You want players who are going to get like, 10, 15 points like range in your flex slot, strictly based off, touchdown probability, touchdown equity. Also for DraftKings being PPR, reception based. So there goes, CeeDee Lamb, Chris Godwin, Cooper, Mike Evans, all those guys in that range. So those are obviously the most ideal plays. And then similar to both these offenses, quarterbacks that are going to spread the ball, which is where it leads you to ideally having Antonio Brown at captain slot sometimes in a lot of high projected lineups, because you're going to have or want to have Tom Brady and Dak Prescott. So like no matter what, even if you get the receiver wrong, you're still getting a good amount of points just from the QB points itself. And typically QB points in general from flex are going to range a little higher than they would at the flex, whereas receivers getting 1.5 for reception and then 9 points for touchdowns kind of takes it a little over the top there. So that's kind of the perspective that you also have to put it in as well. And then next in kind of the value tier, I like the Bucks defense. Dalton Schultz. Tony Pollard can get like a late garbage time game. He could also just get randomly like 2 or 3 receptions for some yards and then like a rush or 2. Also, he's in a pool in a situation where something happens to Zeke. Of course, the kickers are in play here, but obviously, like, you don't want to play 2 of them in the same lineup, and they're never ideal in the captain slot unless it's a very, very low-scoring game, but that's not what this is projected to be. Next is Cameron Brate and O.J. Howard. So both these guys have kind of coin flip upside for possibly getting a tight end touchdown. Will they do it? Who knows? But either way, they could be live for anywhere from a floor from, 2 to like 8 points. So there's equity in that in such a low price point. So you got to keep those guys in your board at least. Geo Bernard, I don't think he's going to get many reps, but he might come out the backfield and get some receptions. They might try and get him in the mix in the opening game. So that's definitely worth it. And then Scottie Miller at 1,600. I think this is a very good possibility for a random touchdown score, even like 2-3 receptions for anywhere from 30 to 40 yards. I feel is in the wheelhouse for there. Possibly getting 6 points for 1,600 in Showdown is very good. So that's the player pool that I have for the flex at 22. So just a couple things to keep in mind if you are using an optimizer and setting your rules. You don't want a quarterback versus like your defense generally. in the pool. Generally, I take defenses out. As you see, I have the Bucks defense in, but I don't have like a lineup where I have the Bucks defense versus Dak or anything like that at captain. You typically want to pair your captain quarterback, if you have it, with at least two of wide receiver, tight end, running back. Same goes for wide receiver. You want to pair them with your team quarterback and your opposing quarterback to kind of get them mixed there and blend in. Those are just some general rules I only usually have one kicker from the same game, if that, and only in this type of game, I would obviously only have one running back allowed from Dallas and a most of two running back allowed in the same lineup with Tampa Bay. And that's just to try and limit the probability, because at most you probably want Leonard Fournette, like Ronald Jones, like if that in the same lineup you might really only want one. But the optimizer might just work itself out like that favorably. So those are just some things to keep in mind. Just some tips and tricks that I'm looking at for the slate tomorrow that I just wanted to share with you guys. So we are going to be doing DFS videos primarily for Showdown. I might do a main slate one. I'm undecided, but I will definitely have a Sunday night football video for you guys that I will be going live with Saturday morning, or at least sometime early Saturday afternoon, to just review the Sunday night slate, just some things I'm looking at there, and then maybe just some picks here and there just for the main slate, what have you. But thanks for watching, guys. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get notified when all these videos go live. Really appreciate the support. Have a good rest of your day. Peace out.